Welcome to the Uppercut and Above MMA Podcast number 2. I'm your host, Reggie. It is Thursday morning, and you know how that goes. So whether you're up making that fresh pot of coffee, maybe you're sipping it already in your coffee mug, sitting down, having a nice seat, or maybe you're stuck in a little bit of traffic, because let's be honest, there's traffic everywhere nowadays. I want to ease it over a little bit. Let's have some conversation. Let's talk some MMA. So as we know, last Saturday was a UFC fight night in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, and it featured a heavyweight showdown main event of Curtis Blaydes versus Junior Dos Santos. Now, coming into this fight, pretty much knew that Blaydes had the advantage in the wrestling, takedown and ground and pound. He's very, very strong. But we also know Junior had the advantage in the stand-up department, being able to land big power shots and put guys away early, technically usually in the first round. So in the fight, what I saw from Junior was good. He defended the takedown very well against Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes wasn't able to get the takedown like he normally would do. And Junior did a good job of evading and stepping away and sliding out of the way and getting out of the way so Curtis couldn't get him down to the ground, which kind of puts a little stink in Curtis's playbook or game plan for that match or whatever. But however, though, Curtis did adjust and started using his boxing and started mixing it up to confusing Dos Santos a little bit. What I did notice in the fight, though, was Dos Santos started throwing a lead uppercut, and he kept on, throwing a lead. The first time he threw it, it was like, whoa, it was a near miss there. If he would have connected with that, I'm pretty sure Blaydes would have been stunned. But he kept on doing it, and I thought maybe he should have threw something behind it. I thought maybe he should have tried to set it up with a combination and then throw it, because that seemed like to be his go-to power shot that he was looking for. But eventually, Blaydes just he started mixing up well, and it was that one level change, a level change to go to fake like he was gonna take him down, that set everything up for Curtis in the end. He does the level change. Dos Santos bites on the fake and gets caught with a 1-2. Now the jab, and right behind the jab came the right hand, and the right hand is what stunned him. He was hurt. He was wobbled. He backed up against the fence. Blaydes swarmed him immediately. Threw some knees, some punches, but he took him out. Junior was out. With that being said, that was a brilliant, audible by Blaydes. So, okay, I'm not going to be able to take this guy down. So let me, find another way to get this fight to go into my favor. And that's what he did. And that was a good win by Curtis Blaydes. Congratulations. He's on a real streak right now. What a good fight. But right now, the heavyweight division is like such in a big mess, because here you have Stipe as the champion. Stipe has the belt. Obviously, we know he beat Daniel Cormier in their rematch. Daniel Cormier wants his rematch. Doesn't really want to fight anybody else, he says. He doesn't want to fight anybody else unless it's Stipe. If not, then he's just not going to fight at all. And I get that, too, because I think Daniel's owed a rematch. But now the young stud, Curtis Blaydes, he wants his shot now. He believes that he's been doing good, and it's time for him to get his shot. And he thinks that what he said in a quote, these old guys soaking up all the limelight need to stop and make way for the new young hungry guys. And I get that too. And then you also still got Ngannou in the picture, who has a fight coming up. But Stipe already beat Ngannou, so I don't know if Stipe would even want to have that fight again. Now, from what I do know, what I heard before was that Stipe had an eye injury, supposedly that he needs surgery on and is not ready to heal. DC is calling for his rematch. He wants his rematch. And I mean, I think he's owed it. I think he's done enough that he's owed a rematch. And I think Curtis Blaydes just doesn't want to wait, because he's riding so high right now for this momentum he has of these last two fights. So it's like, let me get it while I'm hot. I don't want to cool down, and he probably doesn't want to take another fight unless it's for the title. So they got to get this heavyweight title picture sorted out in some kind of fashion. I hate to see things like this happen, because then when guys can't defend the title or something, you start making the interim belts, and it just becomes even more than a mess than what it originally is. So I just hope they sort out this heavyweight division. The co-main event of that night was Michael Chiesa against Rafael dos Anjos. Now that was a fight. That was a fight that I knew coming in that I said I want to see what it looks like on the ground because both guys got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. We all know RDA, however, has the advantage in the stand-up. He's got that overhand left hand, and you can see in the fight he was touching Chiesa with it. He was able to land the low kick, the calf kick, leg kick on Chiesa, which I thought he should have kept on, but he kind of abandoned it. But he kept on because that hurt Chiesa. But Chiesa's so big at 170, man. He's no small 170. And he was able to pressure RDA and to making RDA back up pretty much to the fence. And every time RDA would back up to the fence, then Chiesa would get the takedown. With that being said, though, it was a very close fight. I think it was a real close fight, and where Chiesa just had more top position, because even on the bottom, RDA was defending. He kept on getting out of trouble. He did even try to put a heel hook on, so he wasn't totally dominated, but it just seemed like Chiesa had more of the top position, and he kept on getting the takedown by pressuring Dos Santos to back up to the fence. I feel like if Dos Santos would have stuck to those low calf kicks, maybe he could have changed the complexity of the fight, but overall it was Chiesa's wrestling that really won him that fight and allowing to impose his will on RDA. So good fight by Chiesa. Congratulations to him too. And after the fight, Daniel Cormier went to go interview him, and he's like, I'm going to make this interview short and sweet. Colby Covington, I see you July 6th. And boom, mic drop. He walked out. So that's an interesting fight. And he called out Colby. I mean, I don't mind seeing that. Now, they interviewed him backstage, and Michael Chiesa talked about, he says he knows if he fights Colby, that Colby's going to start with the trash talking. And, he said he's not trying to get in a trash talking match with Colby, or anyone for that matter nowadays. He said he's just trying to focus on the fights. He's trying to get to a world title. He says the last time he trash talked opponents, he's 0-2, so he's got 2 losses. And for Mike to recognize that, that's not me, I'm not a trash talker. I just need to focus on fighting. That's maturity right there. That's maturity, and that's being smart. Because he says in my last time I talked trash to my opponents, I'm 0-2. I fought Anthony Pettis and tried to be a striker when I'm not a striker. Ended up losing that fight. And he's right about that. His bread and butter is the wrestling and the ground game. The jiu-jitsu, that's his bread and butter. And he recognized that, listen, I'm not going to be talking trash. I'm not a trash talker. That's not my personality. I'm just going to be me. And that's what you got to do, because Conor had put so much pressure, I guess, not trying to do it, but on people for talking trash. Conor's entertaining. He talks a lot of trash, but he also backed it up. So people started feeling like, okay, maybe I got to talk trash to hype my fight up or sell my fight and get people interested in my fight. But sometimes by you trying to do that and that's not really your personality, is going to show. And I've seen guys in the past, they start talking crap and trash and, oh, yeah, I'm going to get you and I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And it just sounds so horrible because it's not genuine. You could tell that's not their personality. It doesn't go with them. Only a few guys possess that and that's just the way they are. Like Chael Sonnen was one of the better trash talkers, Michael Bisping, trash talker, good trash talker. The Diaz brothers and how they did their thing. Like, that's everybody. That's just them personally. So for him to recognize, I need to just focus on fighting. If I'm going to get a world title, I got to have that laser light focus and be ready, and don't worry about trash talking and this and getting in the face and all that. Just be ready to fight. So Michael Chiesa, I'm glad that he recognized that, and I wish him success, man. I hope he does good. He says he's just not going to engage in it anyway. So good job. So the showdown that went down between Kumar Usman and Jorge Masvidal at Super Bowl Radio Row. These two appear to get into a heated confrontation. I don't know what about, but, it's stated that Dana does want that title fight to happen. So even when this went down, I was already vested in seeing this fight. It seems like I want to see this fight even more now. So apparently, Kumar, from the clips that I seen, Kumar's standing and he's saying something or like do something, and Jorge's talking to him, talking low. I can't really hear what he says, but then I hear him say, "Don't walk forward. Don't walk forward. If you walk forward, I'm gonna fuck you up." And then, of course, people start getting in between. So Usman takes off his hat. He's like, "We'll do something. We'll do something." And then Jorge's like, "You got a cast on. I'm not going to take advantage of you like that." Then he makes a gesture with his hand like a gun, and he goes, "Boop." And then I don't know if Usman says, "Well, what's that mean? What you doing?" He's like, "'Cause I'm going to fucking kill you." And then he's like, they're going back and forth. Back and forth. Jorge is like that. He starts blowing kisses to him. He said, "I'm not going to take advantage of you, man. You got a cast on." And so that was pretty much the drama. It was much of a back and forth. And they got separated, so there was no blows or nothing. Usman says that he understands where this is coming from because he knows that he's the champion and everybody wants a piece of him, which is true. When you have the title, there's a target on your back. Jorge, on the other hand, said that he plays to be like a tough guy on TV, but he's really not. And I told him calmly that I was going to fuck him up. That way he can't deny it. And like I guess he wants the cameras and the TV to show that I'm telling him that. But then Jorge goes to say, one of the interviews, he goes, then he got all, crazy and stuff. But I'm like, you just told him, Jorge, you were going to fuck him up to his, like, basically around him in his face. Of course he's going to get mad. But that's Jorge. And it's just... Now I want to see the fight. Now, come on, Dana. I mean, I don't know if Usman is injured still or because Jorge kept mentioning something that he had a cast on his hand. But this would be a phenomenal fight. And Jorge seems to believe that if he does fight him, that he's going to just wrestle him. Like he says, I'm going to be fighting a guy that's just going to be hugging my knees all night. And we already know Jorge likes to stand and bang. So, but Usman in the Kobe fight didn't really wrestle. I don't really think they wrestled in that fight. I think that was just straight stand-up. So, but if Usman doesn't want to, play into that game of somebody telling you, to stand and bang when you should wrestle, but I don't know. It's a crazy fight because Usman's got power. He broke Colby Covington's jaw in that fight. He's got power. Masvidal's been putting people away, putting people to sleep. It's a good fight. And that little showdown they had, these are the type of things, we expect. And at the end of the day, Jorge's gonna fight. He's a fighter. That's what he does. Like, he'll talk to you and he'll tell you what he's gonna do to you. And then when that cage door closes, he's coming to fight. Kumar Usman, on the other hand, has been a great champion so far. And he's a beast as well in his own right. So I definitely want to see these two guys lock horns. That's a fight that I'm going down for. It's just funny how it went down. It's just like Jorge's being Jorge. He's blowing kisses and he's telling him, "Yeah, I got you. You're gonna be knocked out next." And he's coming for that title. Who do you think will win the fight? That's gonna be a fight. That's definitely gonna sell out pay-per-views. So on to another bad motherfucker, BMF, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has come out on, I believe, is his Twitter account. And we all know the drama that went down between Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith over the way that Stephen A. Smith, in his comments about Donald Cowboy Cerrone and how he analyzed the fight, which he pretty much basically shitted on Donald Cowboy Cerrone. But anyhow, Nate's come out and said on Twitter, Rogan and Conor should give Stephen A. Smith an apology. He said what it was. The fight was over before it started. Get off each other's nuts. Now, this is coming from Conor having a response to Stephen A. Smith, telling Stephen A. Smith that he should apologize for the way he spoke about Donald because, it takes a lot to step in that cage and these are fighters. So this is Nate now chiming in. And this makes all more, again, Nate and Conor 3 have to happen, man. It has to happen. And I believe if it happens for the trilogy fight, Nate is going to pull out he's going to pull out that side of Conor again because everybody seems to think that Conor's like on chill mode. But trust me, when these two get in the room together, there's always drama. There's always going to be some type of, they go so well together. Like, you can't have them without each other. Like, they were made to fight each other at least one more time. So that's Nate's comments on Rogan and Stephen A. Smith. I got a chance to see the Cyborg and Julia Budd fight that took place as well that same Saturday on Bellator for the championship. And what a fight that was. She's something special, man. But Julia Budd gave it her all too, as you can see. From the fight, from what I did see, is I think Julia tried to clinch up with her a lot just to try to neutralize her power and then get her up against the fence and try to probably take her down. But it seemed like Cyborg did a good job of reversing that on her and had her up against the cage. And then when Cyborg would just let off with strikes, and kicks, and punches, and Cyborg drops her twice in this fight. She did drop Julia Budd twice. But Cyborg is so strong. But then she's so fast. Like, you would think somebody with that much muscle mass wouldn't be as quick. She is fucking lightning quick. And she dropped Julia Budd twice. She won, I believe, in the 4th round, TKO. But by the time the 4th round came, she just let off a barrage of strikes. So now she's got a milestone. She's the only woman champion with a Strikeforce belt, Invicta belt, UFC belt, and now a Bellator belt. So congratulations to Chris Cyborg. She's amazing, man. And like I said, for somebody with so much muscle mass, she's just so fast and she gets her strikes off quick. And Julia Budd put up a good showing because she hung in there, man. And I would like to see a rematch. I don't mind seeing a rematch on that one. That was a pretty good fight. Sergio Pettis was also victorious in his Bellator debut. He destroyed his opponent pretty much. It was a good showing by Sergio. It was good to see he's doing well life after the UFC. And sometimes you got to do that. Maybe sometimes as a fighter, you got to, I'm still young, let me step back, maybe go to another promotion, get some new things around me. And sometimes you got to do what's best for you. Maybe he's getting a better contract over there. So congrats to Sergio. And what a finish, though. I believe he dropped him with a right hand. And then he was just teeing off, like I can't even remember who he was fighting, but his arm was pinned behind him, and Sergio was boom, 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 just striking him. Then he just transitions to a guillotine right in the middle of landing those flurries of strikes. Guillotine. He tells the ref he's out. The ref's like, stop. And I respect that from Sergio, to be able to have respect for your opponent. No, listen, he's out, ref. You got to stop it. Like, instead of continuing, because he was out, he was passed out. Instead of continuing further damage, the sport is already brutal enough. You don't want guys taking unnecessary strikes or being submitted past being passed out. That is very dangerous. So my hats off to Sergio for being a true sportsman and knowing that, he's out, ref. Call this. We need to stop this. Great respect to my man Sergio Pettis. Pettis brothers, they have a lot of class, man. That was a good move on his call. The next big pay-per-view event coming up will be UFC 247. Dominic Reyes versus John Jones. That is the main event. This fight, I cannot wait. It's going to be a fight. This is Jones. I feel like Jones has been really tested lately by the opponents he's been fighting, which is good because, these new young guys coming up, they're going to challenge him. They want the throne, man. They want the light heavyweight strap. And John is such a smart fighter. There's certain things that he's just not going to do or not going to fall for. So it'll be interesting to see how Jones pursues this fight. How Reyes pursues this fight and how he comes to attack John, because John is good for keeping distance. He's going to hit you with those deep kicks to the knees. He's going to attack your knees. He's going to keep you at bay, that you cannot close the distance on him, being that he has that long reach, and that's something John's good. You got to watch out for the elbows when he does get close to you. Now you got to worry about the elbows, and you got to worry about the wrestling, because everybody knows that John Jones can wrestle. He's got very good wrestling. He's got that long reach, like I said. He's got good elbows in the clinch. He can work, and then he's good at keeping you at distance. So this is a fight that I cannot wait to see. John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. UFC 247. Also, the co-main event on that is Valentina Shevchenko versus Kathleen Chukagian. I don't even know how to pronounce her name, but Valentina's been on a roll as well. She's another beast, man. She has shown in the past that she can do it all. So definitely looking forward to that fight, and definitely looking forward to that card by all means. And the UFC had UFC honors yesterday, I believe. That's when they give out the awards for the past year's fights and whatnot in certain categories. And I believe Jorge Masvidal took home the knockout of the year honor. And also, I believe Israel Adesanya and Kevin Gastelum got the award for fight of the year, which that was bananas, that fight. I mean, that fight had everything, and it was just straight up action from start to finish. And those guys are tough, man. Those guys, they put it on each other. They beat each other for 25 minutes. Definitely fight of the year. Jorge Masvidal's knockout of Ben Askren, definitely KO of the year. Well deserved. Those two, there was more honors, I believe. I just don't know what the other ones are. So, but that's it. And that wraps up for today. Like I said once again, thank you guys for listening. This was the Uppercut and Above MMA Podcast number 2. And it's your boy Reggie. I am out, and I will see you next time.